In the currency quadrant, taking a look at the June British pound futures, which through the New York close was on its way to its 7th session of lower prices in the last 8. But post FOMC, the comeback continued off of the lows today to turn the pound just to the positive side of the flat line by about 0.2% as I speak to you right now. Futures have still got a little time before they settle. The high right now ended up 1/3%, about 127.73. Again, could tick up a little bit from there, but the low was 126.90. That was down a little bit more than 0.3%. Since hitting the recent March 8th high, which was the highest level for the British pound since June 27th, the pound had dropped a little bit over 1.2%. But again, we still see it coming back a little bit in the later session. Normally you won't see this much movement past the New York close. But of course, we had that FOMC meeting, which drove the dollar a little bit lower as we saw the front end of the yield curve fall. UK inflation that we got last night was weaker than expected. But one metric in that data set was a little bit concerning. Year over year headline inflation came in at up 3.4% versus the last read of up 4% and a forecast of up 3.5%. So that's good. Year over year core inflation plus 4.5% versus a read of plus 5.1 and expectation of plus 4.6. Not bad. The concerning one, however, was the month over month headline inflation rate, which came in at plus 6%. Now, the expectation was for plus 7%, but this is versus the prior read of down 0.6%. So that's something to discuss at tomorrow's Bank of England rate meeting, and I'm sure they will. They're not really expected with a high probability to move rates, but they could move into a cutting stance and possibly even discuss it or even shock the market and do it. So we want to keep an eye on that, especially you look at what happened to the US yield curve yesterday with the little bit of steepening that we got after the FOMC meeting.